Hello, everyone. My name is Duanduan Hsieh. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm a senior assistant dean of admission here at Occidental College. Today, I'm going to walk you through kind of what we're looking for in a college essay, how to create your narrative and showcase your identity, and truly understanding what the common application essays are asking for. So let's start off with what's in an application. There's a lot of things. We're looking at your transcript, we're looking at academics, we're looking at your supplemental essays. If you've done an interview, what are the extracurriculars that you like to do? What letters of recommendation have been submitted by your teachers or your counselors? So there's a lot of things that we look at, and I know it can be overwhelming, but let's imagine each of these things represent a tree. And so together, they will form a forest. And this is what we mean by when we're doing holistic review or holistic admission. We're looking at the entire forest. We're not looking at each specific tree that you have in your application. And more specifically, we're looking at to figure out your story. What is it that you want to share with us in your application? What is your story that is so important that you want to kind of add to your college application? This is what your forest looks like right now as a rising senior. You don't have it fully completed yet. There are parts of your application that you can't change, right? Like your academics from 9th grade to 11th grade, the extracurriculars that you have been involved in. But there are some things that you still have control over, which is, your college essay. That's why your college counselors or your parents or any other folks in your lives will say that the college essay is an important part of the application. We say so as well. And part of that is because it's the one part in your application that you still have all the control over right before you submit that application to any of the colleges that you apply to. You're still planting this college essay tree. Let's take a look at the Common App essay prompts for this year. Here are all the essay prompts. There's a lot. You only have to choose one to write about for 650 words. But let's kind of dissect this a little further. What exactly is the prompts asking you for? So I've highlighted some of the keywords from each of these questions. And this is what it looks like. It's asking about your background, your identity, your interests or talent. What affects you? What have you learned? What are you thinking? What made you happy or thankful? What motivates you? What affects you? What's some personal growth that you've had or new understanding of yourself? What captivates you? What do you want to learn more of? And what this really boils down to is you. And so that's what the College Common App essay prompts is really asking you for. It's asking for your story, right? How do colleges evaluate the essay? There are kind of two main components that we look at when we're looking to evaluate your essay. One is how you write the essay, your grammar, your style, your structure, as well as what are we learning about you? What are your passions and curiosities? What's a personal story that you're sharing? What's your personality like? So these are kind of both parts that we look at when we're looking at your application. And keep in mind that there are other parts of the common application that we use to evaluate your writing. So, for example, the extracurricular description boxes, your activities description boxes, the additional information section, any emails that you send to colleges. We use those areas to evaluate your writing as well. And so make sure you proofread each section to make sure that your writing is has been completed to your satisfaction. How do you choose a prompt? And so what we're looking for is, I think a good kind of guiding way to figure out what prompt you want to choose is, the first one is, which one would tell the admission officer something they don't already know? So is there a prompt out there that you haven't written about in the supplemental essays or you haven't talked about in your extracurriculars? For example, if you are a student who wants to do psychology and major in psychology, and you talk in your supplemental question essay responses about how much you've really want to go to that college for their psychology department because A, B, and C, and how your summer internship doing psychological research really kind of shows evidence for your interest in that. Perhaps we don't want to talk about psychology or that internship again in your common application essay. So is there something else that you can share about. We want to use each of these real estate effectively to share more about your story instead of focusing on just one specific thing. Which prompt can you answer best in your own unique voice? So what's something that you're comfortable writing, sharing about, talking about, and which one will allow you to write clearly, concisely, and with conviction? This kind of adds to that first part of the essay evaluation, which is when we're looking at your grammar and your structure and how you are as a writer. Here are some common topics. We see these every year. I read about 1,000 essays a year, and there's always ones about, an ode to a family member, someone who is important in your life. A sports injury essay, someone who has been working on a specific sport for a very long time, for many, many years, and then they had an injury, so they weren't able to play anymore. Why you want to become a doctor, summer camp, everyone's been a camp counselor. Community service trips, parents' divorce or a death in the family, a major life event. And common topics are common because a lot of people have a lot to say about them. It doesn't make them bad choices. It just means that you need to be a little bit more authentic and share the story in a personal way that shares your story through these common topics instead of a description or where you're showing but not telling of something that has occurred in your life. So making sure that we always bring those essays back to the original or the main purpose of these personal statements, which is sharing your story. Here are some common mistakes that we often see in essays as well, using slang or profanity, being too casual in your essays, not considering the readers. There are a lot of different admission officers at a lot of different colleges, and we all have different ages and different backgrounds, and making sure that your essays are relatable to all folks. When an essay is the tone or the topic is too young or immature, or essays that we learn nothing about you, that doesn't really scream a personal essay to me. We don't want to come across as judgmental either. And I think this really ties into the second point of considering the readers and where folks are coming from. You don't know who's going to read your essay, so I want to make sure that we're not too judgmental. I also want to stay on topic and have a strong beginning, middle, and end, so not running out of steam at the end. I think this often occurs because students work on their essays last minute, and so you've been working on months and months on that opening statement, that beginning of that essay, and then you've put it away for a few weeks and then realize the deadline was around the corner. And so you come back and try to finish off with a middle and ending that maybe is not as strong as your beginner. So make sure that you answer all the parts of the prompt that you choose. So kind of dissecting word by word what the prompt is asking you for. Having a beginning, a middle, and an end to an essay. Does not have to be a 5-paragraph essay, but making sure that your essays are organized and structured in a way that is a bit of a storytelling, telling your story. Making sure that you spell check. And spell check softwares don't catch everything, so always kind of go through and read your essays one more time before you hit submit. A common mistake that happens is that when students are copying from a Google Doc or from Microsoft Word into Common App and you copy and paste your essay in, sometimes the website will delete all of your formatting and your 7-paragraph essay becomes one long essay, which makes it very hard for admission officers to read. And we also question your writing ability a little bit if you're writing a 650-word, 1-paragraph essay. And so making sure that after you paste it in, just do a quick scroll through and make sure that you have submitted the right essay to your liking. That's important in the supplemental questions as well. When you're submitting an essay and you accidentally copy an essay over from a different college, that doesn't really bode well when I am reading applications at Occidental and I read about how much you really want to attend this other college. Getting started on your essay as early as possible. If you're looking to apply this year and you haven't started on your essay, my advice would be to start as soon as possible and get folks to help you along the way, proofread for you, do some editing, bounce some ideas off of your friends and family or your college counselors, but making sure that you start your essays soon. So those are all my advices for the college essay and writing a college essay. I'll leave you with a beautiful campus shot of Occidental College. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our office. Good luck writing those essays.